Oh, yes. This is episode number 12 of the Midlife Crisis Podcast. I'm the host, Jim Whelan. I filmed a couple of these back to back. It's not like I'm dirty. I just keep the same clothes on. So just to let everybody know, I'm here still in Chop Sports Studio with Dave Sturcio. Help me out here, making me look good, making me sound good. Follow Chop Sports on all your social media platforms. Also, you can follow me on Facebook at Midlife Crisis, and also on X and Instagram at Whalebones with a Z. Also, if you're looking to advertise, if you like the content, feel free to contact me through the social media platforms, or you can also email me at njhoops@hotmail.com, njhoops@hotmail.com, if you're interested in advertising this episode or any future episodes. Thanks for Paul Blake Smith to talk about UFOs. Now it's back to sports and back to basketball. I thought it was a nice segue. So my next guest was a mentor for me. Back when I was younger, I used to write stories about Union County basketball, Union County sports stories, kind of planted the seed onto where we are now in my life, laid the foundation. I would send him articles to a local paper. I found my next guest. He has a website called Sideline Chatter, and he also has a X handle at Chattermeister on X. He's known as the godfather of Essex County sports. He's been covering since 1980s. Like I said, great guy, knows Essex County sports. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Steve Tober from SidelineChatter.com. And also, if you could follow him on Chattermeister on X. Great guy and a lot of Essex County sports knowledge. Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. I owe a lot to you, just as far as I think that you probably planted the seed for this whole podcast and things. So, but I appreciate you, allow me to be a contributor to the Sideline Chatter. I still have it on my ex Twitter account, so that but I appreciate the time. So, but I know you've been called the Godfather of Essex County sports. So, but Steve, thanks for your time, and I appreciate your mentorship throughout the years. And and always when I have these cockamamie ideas, just kind of reining me in. So I appreciate it. So. How's the website doing, and how's everything doing with the Sideline Chatter?
Very good. We have a lot of avid readers. We've been online since 2004, so it's gone 20 years. And
Okay.
Before that, been in print since 1980. And so the name's been out there on different television, cable outlets, and radio opportunities through the years. But we have some faithful followers, readers, and cover the North Jersey scene, focusing a lot on Essex County and a little bit on Union County and occasionally Morris and Passaic.
Yeah.
But predominantly Essex.
Yeah. And then how'd you get started in the business? I know we kind of had like, I would give you something, we would talk, and that was it. But we didn't really get too much in your history. How'd you get started, and how'd you start the website?
Well, the website, let me first start off where I started. Actually, back in high school at West Essex Regional High School in North Caldwell, I was an athlete myself, and I got involved with writing about sub-varsity sports as a freshman in high school for the Caldwell Progress, which is now the Progress, and covers Roseland, Fairfield, Essex Fells, North Caldwell. Wrote for some really nice guys. Bart Giblin was a sports editor there for many years.
Yeah,
and then I did some stringing with the Dorf's feature service, even in high school, and then after college, from the journalistic standpoint in print, covering high school events or town meetings and whatnot. Before I went full time, actually, first with the Suburban Publishing in Union when I graduated from Lehigh University.
Okay.
I'd already been doing a lot of radio work and other PR work before that. I was a union leader, Linden leader. And then 6 months after that, I landed at the Montclair Times, where I was full-time for 17 years and been doing a column for the last, almost 17, 18 years doing a column. So it's been a progression, a lot of radio work, cable TV, suburban cable, Comcast, TKR, with the late, great Lou Brogno. Salmon's Cable in Dover, which became Cablevision.
Yeah.
WMTR Radio in Morristown, WGHT with John Fass and Kevin Burkhardt before him in Pompton Lakes.
Yeah.
And so it's been a lot. And producing programs, even Caucus, New Jersey with Steve Adubato. I did some topical programs on recruiting in high schools, steroid use, and non-sports items, the gubernatorial race between Florio and Corder, going back, I think that was about 1989 in that area.
Yeah.
And a few other sort of volunteerism in New Jersey with Lenny Coleman when Lenny was working in the community, and former president of the National League, was a good friend from Montclair. So it's been an interesting career.
Do you feel like if you're a young guy or a girl coming out now, could it be prosperous? Or, I mean, I know you probably did it. You never really did it for the money. You always did it for the love of it, but like, can somebody have a successful career? Because I know like the print media kind of went away. You started the website, which gets a lot of traction, but do you feel like it's something with social media and everything else that so it can be something, or it's just like something?
Yeah, I think online, obviously, TV and there are opportunities, and the way everybody does it now with web podcasts, and I mean there's work out there, just finding your niche and getting the opportunity. But there are opportunities out there, not in print anymore. I mean, Sports Illustrated is gone by the wayside pretty much. I don't know if it's official yet.
Yeah.
I mean, newspapers, Star Ledger stopped publishing Saturdays. I mean, it goes on and on and on. I mean, outside of some New York papers and papers around the country and the big cities, newspapers are pretty much gone by the wayside. Yeah. But now there are opportunities for young people out there.
All right. Well, let's get to the nuts and bolts. I know we talked a little bit. We were texting back and forth. Dan Hurley won the national championship team, but he kind of reinvented himself at St. Benedict's. He made them a national powerhouse, and he moved on to Wagner, Rhode Island. And then you alluded for the first time in 21 years that they're in the Essex County tournament. I guess they're in the quarterfinals now. What was the move there, and like what kind of sideline chatter did you get about them coming back into not going to prep status, but going into regular?
Well, they've been talking for a couple of years about playing more North Jersey publics and NJSAA schools. They had dropped out of the NJSAA back in around 1990 with mainly concerning their soccer team, because the soccer team has been a national program for years now. They've been ranked number one in the country, and they've had an international dorm there for a number of years.
Yeah.
And they're great cross-country runners from Africa and basketball players. And they decided they're going to go back to the NJSAA, which they re-entered in this calendar year, and abide by the NJSAA regulations. And so how they're going to deal with students either living in a dorm or whatever. I don't know how that's going to tie in, if that's going to be closed down or whatever. But they're abiding by the rules. The Super Essex Conference just let them back in, although they won't be in soccer, I'm told, for 24 because the schedule's already out. But they're in the Essex County tournament, and they'll be in the basketball SEC Super Essex Conference next winter. And they're a high caliber team, and they've been playing the Blairs and the Huns and the Lawrencevilles and those programs for years. And high level team, I think they're number 5 in the state, I think, according to NJ.com.
Yeah.
And so it's them and Immaculate Arts, Newark Arts, which is a magnet school in Newark, which has done very well the last few years. I think they're going to be a Group 2 title contender along with Camden. I wouldn't be surprised if we get an Arts Camden final. It's very possible.
And they got thrown out last year. They got thrown out of the.
Yeah, they got in a fracas with one of your old stomping grounds, the Roselle Catholic.
Yes.
Which I think might have been overblown at the time, what actually happened. But enough, when your kids go on the court and you get more than 3 ejections, you're out of the state tournament. And that's what happened. And it wasn't really a brawl or anything. It was some pushing and shoving. But anyway, they made a mistake getting off the bench. But they're back in. Prophet Cates has got a nice team there, some really good height and talent. And they're going to be a threat. But Benedict's, getting back to them, I'd be surprised if they're not in the final, and I think it'll be them and Immaculate.
Okay.
Immaculate Conception, Jimmy Salmon's team, which has risen on the scene in the last 7-8 years.
Yeah.
And they've never broken through, in those big games in non-public B they've been in.
Yeah.
When Gill was very good. Gill's dropped off a little bit, but they beat Immaculate.
Yeah.
I remember time when Immaculate had a very good team.
I remember you went to the Roseville Catholic Immaculate team, and that's when Nas Reed, I think, was, and he said that and Roseville Catholic, you thought like that was going to be a competitive game, and Roseville Catholic kind of blew their doors
blew
off.
them out.
And
Absolutely
then like you're like, I didn't realize Roseville Catholic was that good, but I mean, Salmon, he had the players AAU. I think he also mentored Tim Thomas when I'm going to Villanova. Who's the Paramus Catholic coach now? Did they square off this year? Immaculate.
No, they've not played, and Paramus Catholic's not had a very good year.
Yeah.
I might take him some time up there. Jimmy Cavallo, former broadcast colleagues, the athletic director there now, and he's doing a good job.
Yeah, I did see that.
It takes a while. Nobody has better personality than Jimmy.
Yeah.
Worked with him at Cablevision and on some MSG work with Mike Quick back in the day.
Yeah.
But Salmon has another good team, but his best player, T.J. Robinson, who committed to Louisville, has been out all season after, I believe, he had an arthroscopic knee surgery before the season. And whether he's coming back or not, I heard he might not come back. I don't know if it's Louisville's talking there or whatever, but they were talking about him coming back the end of January, and we're heading to February tomorrow as we speak. So I don't know if he'll return, but they have Cole Granderson, who's about a 6'6" sophomore, very good big man. Jaron Barnett, another sophomore, and they have Miles Blakely, a transfer from Summit, who's done very well. They've got the talent. I don't think they can crack through to the actual top spot, but I'd be surprised if it's not them and Benedict's on the 17th in the final at the Essex County College in Newark.
Well, what happened with Seton Hall Prep? I know the coach Bob Farrell retired. He was like they were always in the mix, but I know academically, the priest in charge there, he doesn't waver on if you can't get in academically, you're not going to get in. But like, what happened with Seton Hall Prep? And they're I know they get players, but it just seemed like they just haven't really kind of crossed over after Farrell, and I think he just got some accolade read somewhere.
He got the Morgan Wooten Award, National Basketball Hall of Fame up in Springfield, Massachusetts. Bob Hurley has gotten that, and of course, the great Morgan Wooten from DeMatha. His Morgan's son, I think, presented the award to Bobby. Bobby retired in 2011.
Okay.
Almost 800 victories. And Kevin Williams, his longtime assistant, took over. They've had some very good teams in Essex County. In the non-publics, they haven't really gone that far. You say they've had the Gibbs brothers who were very good. T.J. Gibbs played at Notre Dame, Ashton Gibbs at Pitt, Sterling Gibbs who played at UConn and Maryland and Texas. He was at 3 schools actually, finished at UConn. They've had some talent and some other good players, but they just haven't cracked that upper echelon. Don Bosco is at now, obviously, with Harper and that crew, and Bergen Catholic's had some great teams. Even Elliot Cadeau is way to Bergen for like 1 year. They went out to Link, Missouri. He's now in North Carolina. I mean, they haven't had that kind of talent at Seton Hall, the elite, major college talent.
I think they had Abdul Rahim son there, and then I think he transferred, and then I think his dad's coaching somewhere. I think it was South Florida somewhere.
He's at Georgia, doing well. Jabril, and he was a good player, but he also did a year at Blair. He left Seton Hall Prep, did his final year at Blair. Yeah, he would be the closest. I guess he's doing pretty well at Georgia now, but he'd started out of Virginia and transferred to Georgia. But that would be the type of player, son of an NBA guy. Yeah. But it just hasn't clicked totally. K-Will, Kevin Williams, my nickname K-Will, great guy. I think he runs a nice program. This year, they're particularly in a reloading mode because they graduated everybody off the Essex County championship team last year. And they've struggled. And I saw them against Columbia in a first-round game last Saturday. They played very well in the second half, and with a 1-2-2 zone. And they could give East Orange a run in the quarterfinals. They played one very close game, went to overtime, and then lost the second game against East Orange, who's had a good year.
Yeah.
But they're not at the level of the Boscos or the Hudson Catholics or those type of teams now that were in St. Peter's Prep, who's one of their rivals, who's having a great year this year.
Yeah.
St. Peter's Prep. I have a friend, one of my close friends, is a very dedicated alumni of the Marauders, and he's been to see, and they have great guards, and they're going to be a challenger, obviously, with Don Bosco and non-public A.
Yeah. Who's your coach now at St. Peter's? Who's it?
Alex Maribal.
Yeah. I think he played.
Nice young man.
Nice young man. He might have played for Hurley, I think, at St. Anthony's.
I'm not sure if he did, but he's a really nice guy, and he's done a great job there. Because they had Mark Armstrong a couple of years ago, who's now at Villanova.
Yes.
That's some really good players. They have the kid Rosa now and a couple other guards that are very good. That's a great place. I don't know if have you ever been there to a game there? They call the Barn.
Yeah,
it's quite a place.
My son applied there, I guess a couple. Yeah, but it's just like we were taking the train. It's a great school. They offer a lot of variety and Jesuit education. They have a pipeline of a lot of Jesuit schools, so it's a great school, but just wasn't for him. So
it's one of the great atmospheres for high school basketball there. It's funny. I was there the weekend that COVID broke out in March of 20. I was at a Seton Hall Prep, St. Peter's Prep game at the Barn. Mark Armstrong, he was a sophomore that year, and the place was so packed. Rich Hansen, the athletic director, former football coach at St. Peter's Prep, was trying to keep order in the gym. It was quite the scene. And then about 2 days later, people were announcing about COVID, and by that Thursday, you had some sectional finals played, but the state semifinals were canceled. Luckily, that's now 4 years ago, but it doesn't seem that long ago.
Yeah, I can't believe that, though. But you also mentioned about Newark. I mean, Newark, you had East Side, Central was, Jason Williams had that 5-point documentary on YouTube, which was great.
With Sean McRae.
Yeah. So I mean, but you said like a lot of these charter schools are popping up in Newark, and then like, I guess, can they get players outside the city, or are they just get Newark students?
No, they're all of no, they're all. You can in Newark, the magnet schools, Newark Tech, Arts, University, or not. Well, Newark Tech can get kids from out of town.
Yeah.
But most of 99% are from in city.
Yeah.
The charters, I'm not sure if they're getting any kids from outside the city for the charters. They might be.
Yeah.
But the charters have taken over. This year, it's called a KIPP Academy school, Newark Collegiate, another team to watch in Group 2.
Yeah.
I saw them last March against Caldwell, which had one of their great teams. It was a tremendous game, and Collegiate almost beat them, but they lost by 2 in a sectional semifinal. And they had most of that team back, and they've had a great year. They're playing Benedict's this Saturday in the quarterfinals of the county tournament. But that team has taken some talent. But the traditional schools, like you mentioned, East Side and Central, they're just not getting the players anymore depth. And it's been tough. And of course, East Side in 2014, not that long ago, was in the tournament champions final against Carl Towns and St. Joseph Metuchen.
Yeah.
And gave them a hell of a game. I think they had to lose it by a deuce.
Yeah.
Anthony Tavares and Bryant Garvin, his co-coach, retired after last year. And they're struggling mightily this year. But again, they don't have the talent depth. They've had a couple of guys transfer. With the open enrollment in Newark, you have kids transferring back and forth at different schools. University got a player from the East Side. Guys are moving. They move around a bit.
And talk about East Side, the lineage too. I mean, the great players are coming out of East Side. Randy Foy played at Villanova, played a couple of years in the NBA. So I mean, you had a lot of talent come through East Side. Shabazz was another one. You had Eric Williams. I think you had Anthony Avent. Going back when they were they even on the girls' side they were always a powerhouse.
Yeah, Shabazz had a great girls' team like 10, 15 years ago under Vanessa Watson and her teams. But yeah, I mean, there's so many Newark legends that are out there. Al Addles, if you want to go way back.
Yeah, sure.
Coaching the NBA committee. He's a South Side guy. I mean, there's guys. There's so many guys. Ron Cornegay, who was the athletic director at Monmouth University for many years. Another great player from Newark. I mean, I could go on and on with the players from Newark.
Yeah, I mean, and Newark basketball is probably the best in the state. Just like, but much like I guess any other college sports, like these kids are moving for the best opportunity, and
Yeah.
it's just like they're not playing with the neighborhood anymore. They're playing wherever they can get the best opportunity. So I mean, we could debate that till the cows come home. So
Yeah, well, like the name, as you know, with the name, image, likeness, NIL,
yeah,
kids are now staying in college longer too for the money they can make. I mean, I mean, I think Beckett from North Carolina made maybe $750,000 in endorsements last year, and he stayed for a fifth year.
yeah. So
Armando Beckett. I mean, and there's many players like that, and all
yeah,
the credit to them. They deserve
yeah,
the cow and the proceeds in college, and they're finally getting some. And it seems
yeah,
like it's a little bit. But then you add in obviously the portal post COVID with kids now. I mean, a team like North Carolina, which I follow quite closely, they only had like 4 players come back from last year.
yeah,
7 new players, and there's so many schools like that. Like Penn State, when their coach went to Notre Dame, they lost the entire team.
yeah,
I mean, it's a whole different ballgame. And also for kids going to college, a lot of them have to sit out now with kids playing a fifth year. And it's not just basketball, obviously, it's football too. And it's just less opportunities for incoming freshmen at this moment.
yeah. And then best shot, I wrote that down. That was the documentary North Central. It's on YouTube, but it was Jason Williams. He played at St. Joe's Metuchen with the Duke. But just getting back, looking past the Essex County, who do you see? What teams you see coming out of Essex County, kind of making a run on come state time?
Well, I think we mentioned Arts before. I think
Yeah.
Arts definitely is going to be in the mix in Group 2. They have great size. They've got a couple of 6'7s. They got the 6'6s. I mean, they got the height. It's where their guards are going to produce in the crunch games. I don't know if Newark Tech in Group 1, they were in the Newark Group 1 final last year. They lost Tyshawn Boyd, who transferred to Orange before the season. They have the Bragg brothers back, but I don't know if they're going to make a run in Group 1 or not. I'm not sure the overall strength of that group. Group 3 and 4, I mean, can East Orange make a run? East Orange can definitely win their section, which is a very competitive section, North 1, Group 4, with the Patterson East Sides and the Cliftons and the Ridgewood. Ridgewood's a very underrated program, which has really nice teams in the last several years. East Orange could make a run in Group 4. It's possible. Obviously, Immaculate and non-public B, they should be in the mix. Now, whether they get past the sectional semi, or we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how that goes if TJ Robinson does not return. Group 2, I don't think there's you have Arts, but Group 3, I don't think there's really anybody there to watch. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, Caldwell won the section last year in Group 2, which was unprecedented. They had a 2-year run there, which was just terrific. But that whole group has graduated, and Mike Fest does a great job with them. But they don't have quite the talent level they had with a certain core group. With a couple of those guys playing in college now at the D3 level. But I would say probably Arts has the best shot of making it to Rutgers for a final, or actually they're playing a couple of group finals down at the Barnabas Center down at Toms River too.
Yeah,
I think it's 2 and 4 at Rutgers, and 1 and 3 I think are at Barnabas, which is unprecedented this year. I don't know if you know it, Jim, but this year they're going to have girl-boy quadruple headers with Group 2 and 4 girl and boys at Rutgers on I believe a Saturday and a Sunday at Barnabas at Toms River North with girl boys and 1 and 3, which they've never done before that I remember.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Unfortunately, I haven't really been following it that closely anymore. As far as like that, and also, I'm a graduate of Roseville Catholic. They're kind of in a rebuilding year with Todd Decker, but I think that they got a young team, so hopefully that they'll start turning it around. So, but they
hammered Immaculate. They beat Immaculate badly this year.
Yeah,
they play a great schedule.
Yeah, they lost to Benedict's opening up, but then Decker has Coach Decker has good nucleus to work with. So, but so only time will tell. But I mean, it looks like Bosco with Harper and kudos to Rutgers getting him to stay in New Jersey, not going elsewhere. I mean, that's a big get for Peichel down at Rutgers. So
absolutely, yeah. I think Peichel, I think, is an excellent coach. And he's Brandon Knight does a lot of his recruiting, former Seton Hall Prep and Pitt player. He's a great recruiter for him. And obviously that's the story. I mean, if recruiting is the name of the game. And Rutgers, with a great player from Georgia, they got two.
And then recruiting class, they had a great recruiting class coming in. Yeah, it's a great atmosphere to go see a game. I went to the Nebraska game, and it was a great atmosphere for a game. So it's just talk about the barn, St. Peter's Prep. That's the Jersey Mike's Arena. It's a great atmosphere to see a game. Now we were texting back and forth. You also mentioned football. You're Montclair. The one player is transferred from Montclair down to Homestead, Florida.
Florida,
yeah. So
the grandson of the great Aubrey Lewis, who was voted one of the great players of the 20th century by the Star Ledger, was a running back at Montclair in the 1950s, ran track at Notre Dame, and would have been an Olympian except for a knee injury. And just a great man, great businessman. His grandson, Malachi, they call him Bubba Lewis, had a great year at Montclair this past fall in his only season there. He'd started his career at Morris. Actually, freshman at Montclair, started at Morris Catholic as a sophomore, came back to his hometown last year as a junior, had a great season, passed for over 2,000 yards, led him to the section final in North 1 Group 5 against Passaic Tech, and had a lead on Passaic Tech going in the fourth quarter. Could have easily won the game. But Lewis, he and his father decided to transfer for the senior year to Homestead, Florida, thinking the recruiting might be better on the college level down there for him. Being at Florida, obviously one of the top 2 or 3 states in the country for high school football, and they have spring football there too, which is a big thing.
Yeah, well, you can't beat the weather down there, but I mean, Homestead, Florida is that's another
Dade County, which is one of the top counties in the country in high school football.
For football. So, does he have any offers on the table?
He didn't have any offers on the table. I was told by Jermaine Johnson, his Montclair coach, that Penn State had talked to him, but I think it was just preliminary. But I think he would have gotten a D1 offer up here if he was going to stay. But they made the decision. They just think the offers would be better. And again, the fathers, when I spoke to him for a story I did on Sideline Chatter, he spoke about with a portal for all these fifth-year quarterbacks. It's a very difficult spot for high school quarterbacks coming out because there's so many guys playing, and some guys even playing a sixth year, depending on how they redshirted or whatever. And granted, the fifth year with COVID or whatever. So he just felt the opportunities weren't here for him. I don't know if he was impatient, some people think, but they made the decision to pull him out. I feel bad because his teammates, they were going to have a very good team next year. They have a lot coming back. Now without a quarterback, it changes a lot of the dynamics for Montclair.
So, I mean, just overall encapsulating Essex County, like, what was your most memorable team coming out of Essex County? Like, I know you've been covering it a lot of years, but like, what comes to mind as far as, in any sport? What was your most memorable team that you say, football, basketball, or boys, girls?
One of them has to be the 1990 Montclair team that played Randolph in that famous game. That team should have won that game, but regardless, that was a great team coming out, and relatively modern. I mean, in modern times, it's over 30 years ago, but it was that was certainly one in football. Basketball, oh gosh, Bob Lester's East Orange team in 74-75, which beat a great Essex Catholic team, which had basically 4 Division I college players on it, Essex Catholic that year. And one of the great games I've ever seen at Seton Hall University. East Orange won 90-85, and that East Orange team, although not with the Division I college staples, had great players like Cleveland Eugene and Michael Booker, and beat Essex Catholic. And Lester had a great run. Lester, one of the great coaches in Essex County, and his teams at East Orange. And he had some good teams at Montclair too. A couple went to a state final in Group 4, lost to Camden in 1982 and 86. And those are some of the teams I saw that stood out. I mean, you can go back to some of the great Weequahic teams, which I didn't see in the late 60s with Les Fine at Weequahic, with Dennis Moe Layton, some of those great players, which are considered some of the greatest high school basketball teams of all time. And I think in football, there've been some great teams like Caldwell, West Essex on a lower level that
Yeah.
have been very good
Yeah.
teams through the years.
Yeah. Even
but,
Verona, I know you cover Verona.
Verona had a nice run. They had a North Regional Championship team in 19 under Kevin Batty. Kale Zabrowski at that time was a sophomore quarterback, and the team they had back in when they won a sectional championship in 2008 with Carlo Calabrese, who played at Notre Dame, Chris Looney, who played at Colgate. Yeah, Verona's had some really nice teams. They have a new coach, Manj Singh, came in from Glen Ridge after he led Glen Ridge to their first playoff win in 41 years last fall, winning out Waldwick.
Yeah.
And he's now the Verona coach. So it's be interesting to see. Verona is a very enthused football town. They always have been. So it's interesting to see Manj Singh, who's a Montclair guy, but has done a nice job at Glen Ridge and had been an assistant actually at Don Bosco and St. Joe's before that. So he's paid his dues, and see how he does at Verona. After they did not rehire Kevin Batty, who I thought did an excellent job. But it's tough at a group, as you know, as a group 2, group 1s, when the cupboard's bare and you're not getting kids from other communities. It can be, you have to reload sometimes. It happens to the Veronas, the Caldwells. Hasn't happened much to Cedar Grove. Rob Gogarty took over for Ed Sadlock, oh gosh, now about 7-8 years ago. He's kept it going. I don't know, Cedar Grove has not had many down years, and they're a group 1 power.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're in it every year, but like
every year.
Do you find like a lot of the suburban Essex County kids go to the publics, like go to the Boscos, the Pauls, or do you find like that's more of a trend now than it has been?
I think it had been a trend, I think, even 10, 15 years ago, but it's still there. But I mean, like the Tommy DeVitos from Cedar Grove who went to Bosco, the Giants quarterback. I mean, he's an example. There's been many. I mean, guys like Carlo Calabrese, who could have gone to Bergen Catholic or somebody, stayed in Verona. The linebacker went to Notre Dame for their 2008 state champs. It's still happening. I mean, the guys, Seton Hall Prep gets the benefit of Montclair, like West Orange guys that come in there.
Yeah.
Maybe not elite, but Bergen Catholic will get it. Del Barton has had a great running back from West Caldwell. And they had a quarterback, Zabrowski, from Verona this year. Very Del Barton team that gave Bosco a very good run.
Yeah.
Or Bergen,
Bergen,
Bergen at the MetLife Stadium. Rod Trafford was a running back from West Caldwell. I mean, so even Del Barton's getting kids from Essex County.
Yeah, right now from all around wrestling too.
Yeah.
Like
they get a lot of Summit kids. They get a lot of Mendham kids.
Yeah, I mean, Summit and Chatham actually had a merge, which I thought was crazy. Summit was they were always a mainstay on the wrestling front, but I guess Del Barton's going to have, I don't know how many kids, 8, 9 kids go down Atlantic City this year. It's
amazing
for wrestling. So I mean, it's just it's great, and they're good in every sport. So it's just
if you talk about towns, Summit and Union County, West Orange and Essex County really get hit hard from the private and parochials. It seems like you're mentioning about like Del Barton for Summit, Seton Hall Prep for West Orange, and there's been even a couple of kids, 1 or 2 kids from Roseville Catholic from West Orange through the years. Those towns have been hit hard. Montclair has had guys. Brandon Costner, who played at North Carolina State, was from Montclair.
Yeah.
There's been quite a few through the years from the towns, and it's still happening. Maybe not as much as you hear, but I mean, let's face it. In high school basketball now, they're the powerhouse teams. And then there's everybody else, and that's just the way it's been that way. But now it's even more so, perhaps.
Yeah, and then just to wrap it up, Steve, thanks for your time. I know you're probably out, but what keeps you going though? Like you still have the website. You put a lot of material up there, highlight a lot of players. I mean, like I said, you're the godfather of Essex County sports. But what kind of keeps you going, and what keeps the website going? And
well, I think it's just meeting the new kids each year and writing about them, getting to know them a little bit. I did this Athlete of the Week segment I've been doing with Parisi Fairfield, one of my sponsors, Parisi Fitness sponsor, with Anthony Pasillo and John Cirillo, the trainer down there at Parisi Fairfield. And I do an Athlete of the Week segment getting to meet kids. I just did a story on Nick Janish, a wrestler from West Essex, and his grandfather, Tony Janish, who was a former West Essex coach, was my freshman football coach at West Essex. And so it's those kind of stories
Yeah.
that happen.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago during COVID, I wrote, again, it was a sad story, but I wrote about the life of Angelo Franicola, who unfortunately died of COVID, former athletic director at Nutley and
Yeah.
Shabazz, and been an official. Great guy, just Mr. Essex County sports kind
Yeah.
of a guy, Angelo Franicola. And just writing about his life, and he loved all the restaurants in Essex County, would tell you where to go to eat in Nutley and Belleville. But he had the personality, and those kind of people, they keep you going in the Jersey stories. Jersey's just a great sports state, as you know.
It is.
And,
It is.
and
I mean, there's so much here.
It keeps you going.
So much here. I mean, this is episode 12 of my podcast. I mean, it's just like, there's a lot of stories where, it's just a lot of good basketball, a lot of good sports, and then, but just if somebody likes to interview, where would they follow you? And I know you're always looking for advertisers. Where can they, where can they find you?
Well, just log on to the sidelinechatter.com. And that's SIDELINECHATTER.
Yeah.
And they go to the contact page and just send me an email through there at the contact page on sidelinechatter.com. You Google Sideline Chatter, you should come up first.
Yeah.
And there's other people that carry the name, but I've been there the longest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, it's great stuff. And, I thank you for, publishing my stuff throughout the years. I mean, I ended up, stopped probably around 2013, but I had a good run there about, 5-6 years. I really enjoyed it. So it just, and it kind of, I think I took a little sideline myself, but I'm back in the game now. So with this,
this is fun, Jim. You got a nice setup here. Yeah, this really looks nice.
Yeah. So I mean, it's down in Mattawan, so it's not a bad run, but I think also if anybody's interested, Chattermeister on X, you always have good.
X. I love X.
Yeah. So always good. But Steve, thanks for your time. Thanks
Jim,
for your support all throughout the years, and lots of good.
Yeah, we got to get together sometime and just talk sports. Maybe at the local. Who knows? We don't have Spiritos at Elizabeth anymore, but there's a lot of places to go.
They're shooting movies there now, so so there's a lot of good places, but Dunn Sports Arena is not the venue anymore. It's
it's actually pretty. They fixed it up nice. I was there for the Cole Ramsey state semifinal Group 2 last year, and Dunn was looking better than it's looked in a while. And I don't know how they're not using it much, but it's because Kane has gotten so much of the activity. Yeah. But it's still not a bad venue.
Yeah, but Colicchio, he's you can't count him out either at Elizabeth. Talking about
no, he's got another good team, another top 10 team.
Great coach, and Fury, he's the football coach. He's got a nice quarterback there. So hopefully you see Elizabeth start being on the map. I know I looked at their schedule, a lot of good games. They lost 3 or 4 points here, but if he keeps the talent in Elizabeth, he'll do well. Fury, of course, he was
he had a freshman quarterback. They lost so many close games, as you know, last year. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and my son played for another Remicchio, so he was he's great.
I like Pete. He was in Montclair for many years. Great guy, enthusiastic.
Oh, great, and he's got like anything else, he's got a lot of freshmen coming in. If they stay, they'll have something special in 4 years. So once again, if the privates don't pick a couple players off, but he's going to do well.
The GL hockey's still doing pretty well.
Yeah. When my son moved out, he was the first one. So he got on the ice. Got on ice in the state championship game. So that was a nice run. And it was coaching change, but we'll see where they go. They lost to Westfield. I don't know. Westfield's always just got their number, so it'll be interesting to see in the McGinnis Cup.
The Cup playoffs are coming up. McGinnis Cup playoffs will be very competitive this year.
Yeah, and Westfield shut them out 4-0. That was big. They're a very good offensive team. So very good. Chelsea's a very good offensive team. But Westfield, they just keep rolling them out there. Summit's down. I don't know where their players are, but they're down.
Yeah, they're a rare down year for them.
Yeah. So anyway, Steve, thanks for the time. And like I said, I'll definitely keep in touch. But thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we'll maybe do this again sometime.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, let me know. Let me know. You got my number, so let me know.
Definitely.
Take care.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
Be well. Right, I'd like to thank Steve for giving me the opportunities throughout the year. I think that his help and guidance way back when in the 2000s led me to where I was today. Follow him on X at Chattermeister. Looking forward to seeing Essex County. Always great basketball. Arts, see what they do in the state championship, and also see what Jimmy Salmon's team does for Montclair Immaculate. It's going to be the best time of the year. Hope you and your family are doing well. Look forward to another episode coming soon. Midlife Crisis Podcast. This is Jim Whelan out.